So a little review for cells. And so this, I'm recording this, everybody. If you want to watch it later, you can. But the process we're looking at here is mitosis. So this is mitosis. This is mitosis, and that lower and bottom piece is cytokinesis. Okay, mitosis is how we grow. It's how we heal. Okay, so if you get an injured cell, it needs to replace that injured cell. If it's got a cell that dies, it's got to replace that one. Okay, we go from one egg to two eggs, or two cells in this process. Okay, so it starts out as a regular cell. In our first one, the second cell, the nucleus dissolves and the chromatids appear. They line up, they split. A new nucleus forms on each opposite end, and then it splits with cytokinesis. Make sure that you know those steps tomorrow. Okay? There's probably a song that we could sing. Like Warrenberg would make up a song or something. I don't have a song, so maybe in a little bit we'll do something, but it could be interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, cytokinesis. Does that work?
Maybe.
Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase. I don't know. I've tried. Old MacDonald had a... So now I'll try to start writing some of these songs for these units, but I don't have that yet, okay? Also, I can't really play the guitar yet, so the combination of those two things really holds me back. Anyway, so that's one idea that you need to know for tomorrow. I just started with that one, okay? The first thing that you needed to do that we talked about was the cell theory. Okay, now what is the cell theory? The cell theory, it was formed by a bunch of scientists who started looking at things that were small, right? And it really went back to who came up with a microscope. The first person to master the microscope, not necessarily invent it, a guy named Anton van Leeuwenhoek. And he saw the first living things, and he called those animalcules. Okay? Well, then there's a few people that came along, Matthias Schleiden and Theodor Schwann, and they studied plants and animals. And then they worked together, and they said the cell theory. The first part of the cell theory is that all living things have cells. Right? All living things have one or more cell. Okay, B, second thing, is the cell is the basic unit of life. And then a third guy came along after this, and his name was Rudolf Virchow, and Virchow said the third part of the cell theory. And this is probably one that is the most challenging to remember, and that is cells come from other cells. He said that cells did not spontaneously generate, meaning they didn't come out of thin air. They have to come from other cells. So cells come from other cells. Good? So make sure you know those three people. Schwann, Schleiden, and the third is Virchow, and he wrote the last one, so this one was Virchow. You guys had that on your quiz already. Okay, the next thing is we need to know the difference between this and this and this. You're thinking right now, hopefully you're thinking, you're like, what is that? That's a small circle, a large circle, and a square. Well, if you look at that, and you're thinking right now, I know I see a few hands popping up. What's the difference here, Sophia?
The small one's prokaryote.
Yep.
Each circle is eukaryote. And this rectangle is plant cell.
Close. These are both eukaryotes. What happened here? Why can't you see anything?
Sometimes it just takes a little bit.
There we go. Okay, this is eukaryote. It is going slow. And so the top one, this one, it's just really lagging. Holy crap. Okay, the top one is prokaryotic. The one on the left is an animal cell, and the one on the right is a plant cell. Both of those two on the bottom have a nucleus and a nucleolus. Okay? They both have the same organelles. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about specific organelles. Okay? But I will kind of highlight a couple things. All right? This is not working very good right now. Try this again. So what I've wrote in there, and I don't know if it's going to pop up or not, but in the plant cell, I wrote 4 green organelles, and I wrote 1 big blue one. Okay, so I got that, and then I've got in each of them so this is I've got an issue here going on. Okay, here we go. All right, I got it back now. Okay, so I have on the cell on the right-hand side 4 green things. I have a blue thing. Each of them I have a couple orange ones. And then the last thing I'm going to write in, whoops, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. So those different colored organelles are important organelles. All organelles are important. But I'm going to talk about those ones real quick. So the easiest one to talk about is the big blue one, okay? And it's big and blue because of what it holds. And when we talk about blue stuff, what are we talking about? We talk about, right, we're the blue planet because we have lots of water, right? So it's not the fact that eukaryotic cells don't have vacuoles, they just don't have a large water vacuole. Okay, everybody with me on that? They have smaller vacuoles, and for the most part, they store food and whatnot. Okay, the orange ones, talk about food, are mitochondria. And what a mitochondria does is a mitochondria converts glucose to ATP. All other cell organelles run on ATP. In fact, even mitochondria run on ATP. Okay, so they do that. Now, check this out. The plant has mitochondria as well, because the plant makes glucose, and that glucose goes right to the mitochondria, and the mitochondria converts it to ATP. Everybody follow me on that? The chloroplast is the organelle that takes in carbon dioxide and produces glucose, though. So that glucose is produced by the chloroplast. It releases oxygen, and then you get glucose. Okay? Now the red one, what's the red one? Carolina, take a peek at that red one. What's the red up there represent?
The cell wall?
The cell wall, right on. Yep. Okay, good. Are there any organelles that you want me to talk about? Probably one little one, and that is this one. I have it up here on the top. I have it here. All these white little dots. What are the white little dots? Ribosomes. And ribosomes make proteins that go into the nucleus so that they can make more DNA. Okay? We good with that so far? Okay. Are there any other organelles you want me to talk about? Otherwise, I'm going to skip those. We've talked about them quite a bit. Okay. Oh, yes.
Vacuoles?
The vacuole. So the vacuoles store water. In plants, it stores mainly large water, and then they have smaller ones, and that can store a little water too, or it can store nutrients. Okay, so that's what a vacuole does. Good?